Howdy on Wolfx Lives. I think it's time to play a little 7 Days to Die. Alright. So we got a new quest. Let's see where it's at. Ooh, it's in a new area I haven't been to. So we got a little side quest right there too. Let's see, what are the chances I can unload a bit of stuff. I'll keep that on me. Just a bit of stuff. You know what, I probably don't need these junk turret parts. Don't use them. Alright, so I think that gets me unencumbered. So let's head over here and see about doing this side quest here, which I think is one of those kill some things. So, speaking of side quests, we can talk about some D&D. So we played our D&D game last night. It was more side quests that I don't think are going to be related to what's going on, because you have to plan ahead for that to be a thing, and that is not what our DM has done. So this is a weird thing I realized today, actually. I like to let one of my buddies know what's going on in our D&D game, because he was a DM for a game I played in, and now I am. You're not even the zombie that I stopped to kill. Dang it, why won't he fall down? So I like to let him know what's going on in the other game I'm playing in. We like to chit-chat about things from the DM point of view, I guess. And I'm DMing a game that he's playing in, so, you know, it's not like we're not all crisscrossed games with each other. And so, I realized today that my Wednesday night game, which is the one that I normally talk about on here, our DM there, he's not planned anything out, and he's using some kind of guide to run the game, and not the actual book. And so, that's not a problem. I don't have a problem with that. But it's... Okay, now I need to make sure what this quest does before I start it, because it might be something weird. Kill some special infected zombies. Okay. Oh. Forget weird, super dangerous is... Oh! Woof, man, woof. Was not expecting it to be quite that level of zombie who came out, right? Those are some big old ferals I wasn't prepared for. Let's just respawn near my bed. I was not prepared. Oh, right, I got to keep all my stuff, but not my bike, because I got off my bike. But I'm near my bed. I should have respawned on my bed, because then I can unload the stuff I don't want to take with me. So we're playing Dragon Heist is what it's called. Dragon is the name of the gold coin in this city. And so I know, because I've watched some stuff on it before we started. I didn't watch because we were going to play it. I watched stuff on it when it first was released a couple of years ago. And so I am aware that the adventure is about a large pile of treasure eventually, and so one of the interesting things that they had done with the game was that they wanted to let people have lots of options for how the game worked and or how the adventure played out inside the city, because the whole thing takes place in the city of Waterdeep, which is like the city in D&D. Like there's no city that's bigger than Waterdeep. And so the whole adventure takes place inside the city, pretty much. And so uh, one of the things they did was they included 4 potential ultimate bad guys. It's hard to call them bad guys because of the nature of the thing, right? There's 4 different potential people who want the treasure as well. They're not necessarily bad guys. They're just very powerful people who also want the treasure that you, I guess, are supposed to be searching for. That's not how it's worked out in our campaign, because nothing ties together in our campaign. The book does not tie them together either. You're supposed to do that as the DM, and that has not happened for us. And so they give you 4 choices. I don't quite remember what one of the choices is, but there's like a famous D&D character, Dark Elf, and named Drexel, who's pretty awesome in the books. And then there's Xanathar, who's one of the heads of the criminal organization in the city. And then maybe those are the only 2 I know. I think one's a wizard, and one is a pair of nobles, maybe. And so those are like the 4 people, right? None of them are really necessarily bad. I mean, they're bad guys. They're obviously bad guys, but they're not the bad guy. They're not the big bad. The world's going to end if you don't stop them. You know, if they get the treasure, they get the treasure, so what? It's not that big a deal. So we have reached the last section of the game. Now, the last section of the game I read was made up of 8 parts, and so there are 8 parts we have to get through yet. But we've reached the end of the game, and I realized today, while giving my my buddy a recap of what we've been doing, that we don't know, nor have we interacted with agents of any of those 4. When the game starts, you have to rescue this guy who accidentally got kidnapped and is being tortured for information he doesn't have. And so when we rescue him, you go into the dungeon, or into the sewers, and you confront members of Xanathar's organization. And we almost tied in, and I talked about that, I think, I don't know if that was last episode, it might have been the episode before, about how we had fought we had fought an intellect devour at the beginning of the game, and then we just ran into an intellect devour, and I wanted to, I tried to tie that into what had happened, but it didn't. It does. It totally does in the book. It totally does in the book. And for whatever reason, that is not what's going down for our campaign. And so, where am I? Ooh, I am a long ways off from where I thought I should be by now. And so, yeah, so it's just really weird to me that we're at the end and we still have no clue about what's even going on. Uh, and so, and it's bizarre. It's a bizarre set of unrelated things that have happened, unfortunately, that don't tell a story. Um, I do want to tell the one thing that happened this week. I'm gonna try to keep this quick, but like, so this is what we have learned as players. First, we rescued this guy who was kidnapped, and we found out about the stone. Whoops! And we were told that the stone led to a treasure, and that was that. And then, with no reason to do it, we were told by our DM, not by people in the game, not because we wanted information from one of the factions and they wouldn't give it to someone they don't know or trust. We were just told that we had to do faction quests. And so we did random quests. And as far as I can tell, they are random quests. Even in the book, they are random quests that do not have anything to do with anything. And I think that's dumb. I don't think a game about questing that has a storyline should have random things that have nothing to do with the storyline in it. It's not fun for me. Like if you're doing a homebrew game and there isn't a specific storyline, it's a little different where your players, kind of wander from thing to thing. But often there's like some big overarching story maybe you keep in the back of your mind while they're questing and doing things. Like for example, in the homebrew game that I played in, we were in a city and we had some time to waste, and so we found out there was a guild that goes out and hunts monsters, and so I decided we'd go to that guild and we would take a mission and go hunt monsters while we were waiting, right? I mean, something for our guys to keep doing, because I just don't think that if you are an adventurer that you would just sit around and do nothing. And so, that's something that I as a player picked to do, not that my DM told me this is what you're doing. So in this particular instance, we were told the three factions that we were going to try to get faction stuff for, because those were the ones he had chosen. And so we talked to a monk on a mountain and got a message from him that didn't mean anything. We solved a serial killer that didn't have anything to do with anything. That one could have tied into stuff if Jiraxel had been the bad guy. Or even, it could have even tied in with Xanathar being the bad guy. But it didn't tie in anything. It never got mentioned again. And, oh, shoot, I walked past my bike. And so, it's, and then what was the third quest? I think that's the one where we had to talk to a talking horse. Once again, with a message that didn't mean anything. And so we rescued that guy. We did 3 unrelated things. And then there was an explosion outside our place. And so then we we try to figure out what's going on with the explosion. We find a trail. I follow the trail. And then I'm told that I can't follow the trail. And that we have to get our information from the place where the explosion took place. And so we go back and we check the place where the explosion was. We find a clue that leads us to the Temple of Gond. Now, the Temple of Gond has not been brought up before this. It's not been brought up since. But at that moment, the Temple of Gond, who has nothing to do with anything, is the focal point of our mission. We've been hunting specific people. None of them have to do with the Temple of Gond. So I don't know. I don't know why that is part of the storyline. I haven't read the book to see why. I just know we found a piece of paper, or no, we found a piece of cloth that led us there. There was a robot. I don't know why there's a robot. The robot made a robot. I don't know why the robot made a robot. Not explained. And then I want to see if there's any quick to grab like recipes or anything before we before we reset this place. And so it's really weird. Like, so then we're supposed to find the robot, and we find the robot, and you know where the robot led? The place I wanted to search, that I wasn't allowed to search because we could only get our information from the robot. And so the robot led us to the place where I was trying to go to. And then when we get there, we fight the people, and yeah, okay. I'm not going to drop down in there right now because I have to reset this thing, and I might as well just reset it so we can do this. And so, okay, so this is a fetch and clear. So yeah, so then we find out that the stone, which is the key to this whole thing, was being delivered to us, and then it got stolen by this guy that we killed, and but then the lady whose house it was where we killed the guy, she had taken the stone and given it to the robot. Don't understand why. Still not clear how the robot is part of this. But yeah. So then we follow the robot, and we kill the robot, and the robot has a map, and we're told the map will take 5 days for our DM to translate. 5 in-game days. And if we wanted to get someone else to do it, it would take 10 days. So only his character can decipher this map in time. And it's like, okay, fine, whatever. So I was like, we should take it to the people who work in codes that we know and see if they can. My guy can crack it in 5. I'm telling you right now, it's going to take them 10. I'm like, okay, if you say so. I don't know why it has to take any days. I don't understand why there's so much your guys sit around and do nothing for 3 weeks at a time. This is bizarre to me. And so yeah, so then we have to wait on that, and that's still not done. And so then we get new quests, and so new faction quests that have nothing to do with anything. So faction quest 2, they want us to go talk to a dragon who is trying to get treasure from the bay, and we help him because he's nice, and he just wants to explore shipwrecks. And I figure he can explore shipwrecks. Nobody cares, because they're nice dragons and evil dragons in D&D, and it's usually determined by their color. And he was the nice dragon color. They're called chromatics and metallics, and although now there's a gem dragon too, a sapphire dragon. But the metallics are good dragons, and the chromatics are bad dragons. So if it's a red dragon, it's bad. If it's a gold dragon, he's good. Oh. Did you see me fall in a hole? So, yeah, so we talked to a dragon, and then we delivered potions for a potion shop, and then we, shoot, what was the third thing on that list? Oh, this guy has been acting funny, and they want us to talk to him to find out why he's been acting funny. And so he actually led us into a trap, and we had to kill him. And weirdly, he has a sentient weapon, which is really powerful. And I thought, oh, cool, we get a sentient weapon for this quest. And then when we go back to tell them what has happened, they just take the weapon from us. And I'm like, that's not how sentient weapons work. It has to want to go because it chose to be wielded by me. So I'm not exactly sure why they just took it. But they did. I mean, I know why they took it, because my DM realized he didn't want me to have a powerful weapon. And, I mean, that's why we didn't get to keep it, straight up. Then we come back and we get another 3 quests, right? Doppelgangers in the city, and one of the groups would like the doppelgangers to join their faction. Doppelgangers are people that can change their shape to look like other people. And so they wanted the doppelgangers. So we're not done with that quest yet, because the doppelganger we talked to said it would take a couple of days to get the other doppelgangers together so that we could talk to them. And I'm like, okay, this is another waste of my time. I don't understand why we're talking to these doppelgangers. And so then it was the doppelganger. There was the doppelganger. There's the quest we completed last night. And there was... Oh, this old woman had a tiny monster in her house that was bothering her cat. And so we had to kill the monster for the old woman. And it was the same... It was like the monster we fought the very first time we fought a monster in the game. You know? So it was like tiny and easy to beat. And then we had the quest that we completed last night. Now, up to this point, our DM had done this thing where he prefers the XP method called milestone, which I have talked about many times. And just briefly, milestone means the DM decides when you go up your level. I prefer the XP method because I like to see my level bar fill up so that I know when I'm getting close to that next level. And, you know, I play lots of video games. I like to see that XP bar down there on top of my inventory fill up. And so, you know, and so he had agreed that we would use regular... I'm not sure. This is telling me that it's above me, but I'm not sure how to get up there. I mean, we came in from above, right? So I guess I'll go out here. Just go around and go back up the outside. So, so we get last night's quest. And so here I have to talk about... so he complains that we level up too fast. Now, he's using this guide that alters the game. And the guide makes the game harder, mostly by throwing more bad guys against us. And so... oh, it's right here. I walk past it. Yay! And so the problem is that you get XP for bad guys, and so the more bad guys he throws at us, the faster we level up. And so during one of the rounds of quests that don't matter, we actually um, got like 900 XP one night, and then the next week we did just as much as we did the previous week because of all the extra stuff he throws at us. Only he didn't want us to level up, so he gave us 100 XP because he knew how close we were to level up. So last night we were pretty close to level up, and the previous week we had gotten like 1200 XP or something like that, and so we needed 1600 XP to level up to level 5. Now he had told me before we started last night that he was going to slow down our XP gains and that we might not get any XP for the next couple weeks because he didn't want us to level up because his guide said that we weren't supposed to level up until halfway through the final chapter. And so we should be on the final chapter. Once he tells us the map is deciphered, we start the final chapter. And in the book, the map starts the final chapter. You just get the map, and it's readable, and you go do it. There's no, it's going to take me 5 days to decipher it. It's just a map with an X on it, and you go to that spot, and it starts the end of the game. And it says in the book you can start that at level 3. So we're level 4, almost 5 last night when we started. The book says for the quest we're on that this guy has decided to join a gang of were-rats. And so when you confront the were-rats, there are 3 of them, and you either have to kill them or scare them away. And that's how you get the kid back for his parents. So the guide that he's using, which is different from the actual book, the guide has this big long thing where you fight 5 were-rats, where the book says 3, and then that leads you into the sewers where you fight another 9 were-rats, a spellcaster, and this giant insect called a carrion crawler. And so that's a lot of things to fight. Luckily, he didn't hit us with it all at once. It's also where animals don't take damage from normal weapons, and we barely have any magic weapons in our group. And so my one guy, my bard, doesn't have any magic items at all, and so he just cast spells all night last night. Although that ruined my DM's day, which was fine with me, because he was landing things like Hold Person and Tasha's Hideous Laughter, which is like Hold Person Light, and which stops them from being able to do anything on their turns. And but yeah, so we fought like 14 were-rats and killed them all, and we rescued the kid, and we fought a level 6 spellcaster. We're level 4, so that's way more powerful than we are. And he said it was level 6. I don't know. It had a higher level of spells than we had access to, which means that spells in the game are massively different in power. So, like at the level I'm at, I do like a couple of dice worth of damage, and then at the level she was at, she'd do like 6 dice worth of damage, you know. And so it's it's a pretty big difference. But so we're fighting her, and we get rid of her. Oh, I got a beaker. I didn't even notice I got a beaker. And then we get rid of her, and we take the kid back to his parents. And
Pleasure doing business with
I made sure we fought the carrion crawler because we could have skipped it. just to make sure that we got our XP we needed to go up our next level. Oh, let's do a fetch quest. Those are usually pretty easy. Although I definitely need to hit home again to unload. And so, actually, it's like time to end the episode. I'm going to finish my story, though, real quick here. So then we get through all that, and he says, "All right, it's time to do XP. We're gonna quit for the night." And I'm like, "All right." And so he starts figuring out how much XP we got, and then he goes, "How much do you need to level?" Now I had looked earlier in the night, and I knew we needed like 16 or 1700, and so I was like 2700. And I'm like, I don't know, I'll have to look it up. Give me a second. Now, that's what I said. 2,700, I don't know. Give me a second. I've got to look it up. And so then he finishes calculating before I can figure it out. Because we play on Roll20, but I don't like Roll20's character sheets. So I only keep like my abilities mostly on there. And then I use D&D Beyond to level up my characters because it's a lot nicer and easier to do. It just doesn't interact directly with the Roll20 system, which allows you to just click on like your weapon and it will do your attack for you. So by the time I got to my Roll20 character sheet and opened the XP so I could see how much we needed, he's like, "All right, so for tonight you get 1900. We needed 1600." And I was like, "Ooh, that's level 5. Ding ding." He's like, "What?" I'm like, "Yeah, we only needed 1600 XP." And he's like, "What do you mean? 1900 is not enough to level you. You said you needed 2700." I'm like, "No, I mean, I'd said 2700, but I said that I needed to look it up. I was joking." And he's like, "But, well, how much do you have now?" I'm like, 300 into 300 into level 5. And he's like, "But we're not done with the level 4 stuff." And I'm like, "Well, I don't know. We just leveled into level 5, so." Um, he's like, "Well, I don't know what we're going to do now, because there's like a whole nother round of side quests you're supposed to do, and you're not supposed to be level 5 till we're toward the end of the final chapter, and now you don't even, I mean, you're level 5, and you got to do the chapter yet before you get to level 5. I'm like, well, that's what's happened. We're level 5 now. I wanted to say was, if you don't want us to level up, stop throwing giant battles against us that aren't the things we're supposed to be doing. Simple as that. I mean, I like big battles, and I like going up levels, so don't get me wrong, I would prefer we keep the big battles and the leveling up. I just despise the, "Oh yeah, you might have earned like 800 XP tonight, but I want you to level up, so I'm just going to say everybody gets 100 this week." Or, "How much do you need to go to your next level? We're ready for you to level up. Oh, you needed 300, so even though you did 2,000 XP worth of stuff tonight, I'll give you that 300, so you can make it to your next level." How about you just give us what we earned, and we call it good, right? So yeah, so he was, it was pretty funny. The other guy was laughing about how he kind of got tricked into giving us our next level like we were supposed to get. Yeah, so we are nearly at the end of this thing. We got, according to what I know, there should be 8 more encounters, but they're in a row, so it's not like what we've been doing where we have to wander around and chit-chat with people to figure out what we're doing, or we gotta wait for him to tell us what we're doing. This is 8 in a row related quests to finish it off. But it's weird to me because we still don't know who the bad guy is, or even what the deal is. Like, sure, we're kind of looking for the Stone of Galore, but there's not a reason for us to look for it. There's not a reason for us to do anything. And I've been telling him that once we reach level 5, I'm just going to throw myself into the next venture because the next venture we're supposed to be doing is the Dungeon of the Mad Mage, which is through a portal in the local bar that's famous for being the portal to the Dungeon of the Mad Mage. And I'm like, you haven't given us a reason to want to look for this Stone of Galore yet. And I mean, we don't even know who the bad guy is because we've never faced anybody that's one of the four. Uh, I don't know. I just don't know what he thinks is supposed to happen because none of the quests tie together. Like you think that the message that we got from the monk would be important, never mentioned again. You think that the message we got from the horse would be important, never mentioned again. I have no idea why we rescued that old woman's cat. Nothing to do with anything, you know. So, all right. Well, with that, click like if you like, subscribe, try and catch the next one. I will talk to you later.